Have you ever wondered how easy it is to use a deep pour resin, but you don't want to invest a lot of money into it and buy about 4 or 5 gallons of it? Well, T-Expert have brought out their own little kit of their great deep pour resin. This is what you get in the kit. Oh, I do love it when they give proper gloves rather than awful little gloves. All the guide comes with it as well, and it also comes with quite a bit of resin. Doesn't come with a mold, and it comes with 2 of these, but I dropped one and then stood on it. Some mica powders and some gloves, and this as well. Now, I'm not saying this is as good as the one that's got my name on it. Because, of course, it's got my name on it. But this is a great little mat to have. It is rather large, which is always a good thing. And it covers up a whole table. And these are worth having if you're working on a table that you do other crafts on as well. And it avoids you having to get any resin on your other crafting table. If I've got a discount code for this, I will put it in the description below. So don't worry. And to find the description, just look under the video where there's a little write-up. Just click on more and that'll open it up and it'll show you where the description is. Now, there's always a good reason to be using a deep pour, and that is you will not get a flash cure from it as long as you pour within its recommended depth, and that is going to be a lot deeper than you can a normal one-to-one. The other really important thing is it gives it time to release any bubbles. They will come up to the top and you'll get a much clearer finish, and I'm going to show you that as well with this one. The only difference is deep pour can take up to 72 hours to cure, so don't panic if you are seeing your resin still running after 24-38 hours. And it's also a lot thinner than one-to-ones normally. As a result, you'll find that things will sink a lot easier into it than it maybe would a one-to-one. So bear those things in mind when you're using a deep pour. Now, deep pour is going to be mixed up as a 2-to-1, so that'll be 2 parts of A and 1 part of B normally. Sometimes you can get a 3-to-1, but make sure that you use the correct amount. And this one is done by volume. Some are done by weight, and I've used the other deep pour one by T-Expert, which is done by weight, and that's for really large pours like river tables and things. But this one you'll find works really well with volume. So I know I'm going to be using quite a lot of resin in each of those, more than what is shown on these. So I'm going to be using my large mixing jugs to mix the resin up ready for these. And these come in my kit that I developed with T-Expert. So I've got no problems about talking about it in this video. So for each one of these, I'm going to need 200 of the part B and 400 of the part A, and I'm putting my part B in first on this because that tends to be the slightly thicker part, and then I can mix it up from the bottom upwards. There we go. So that's how much I'm going to need. And then when mixing deep pour resin, do mix it exactly the same. You can see when it's mixed because all those streaks and that have gone. But you need to mix this, I would say, for a good 4 minutes, making sure that you scrape the sides and the bottom and then wipe the stick constantly as you go. If after 4 minutes you can still see streaks, then it's not mixed properly and it won't cure properly. So just mix for a little bit longer until all those streaks have gone. As you can see, that's starting to blend in there a little bit more, but you can still see those streaks. Now, what I do is I listen to a 4-minute song normally on my iPad or on something, and then it's not quite as boring. So I've got my resin mixed up now, and I'm going to pour a little bit off of this into these 2 little tiny jugs to show you what happens when you add mica powder to a deep pour resin. You don't want to add too much because it does weigh quite heavy, and it, like I said, it will cause it to sink. Now I'm going to be using 3 different colours. I'm going to be using red, gold and a tiny bit of black. And make sure that you mix them in fully. And these are the mica powders, apart from the red one, that came with this kit. And this is the resin I've got mixed up for this one, which is going to have the mica powders in it. And all I'm doing is pouring this over the top here, like that. And now what I'm going to do is pour this into the mold, like this. There we go. I'm going to take my stick and just give it a little bit of a move around, and then let that do its own thing. And as you can see, bubbles have already started to come to the top. Now, I would leave this about half an hour normally, and then go ahead and burn those bubbles off. But you will find that the bubbles will just rise to the top anyway, because this is a much thinner resin and it stays thin for a long time. Now with this second one, I want to show you how well it releases the bubbles for a clear resin. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit where I've made a mess, and you know me, messy, messy, messy. That's why it's always important to work on a silicone mat and to have gloves on. I've done a video on resin safety and the dangers of using resin and how to protect yourself, and that will be linked in the description below of every single one of my videos. And now I'm going to pour my other one in here as well and let that just cure up with nothing in it. There we go, and we can come back to that now in probably about 48 hours and I can show you what they look like. Again, I'll go back over this in about half an hour with a long neck lighter and burn any bubbles off that have come to the top. You can already see how quite clear that is. Well, it's been just over 48 hours now, and these are lovely and cured. And look at that. I think from here you can already see it's crystal clear. So let's have a look at the crystal clear one first. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Lovely and clear. That's a great thing about using the proper resin for the right project. So using a deep pour resin for a deep pour project gives it time to get rid of all those bubbles and to ensure you get a lovely, clean, clear finish. So let's have a look at the coloured one. So there's the coloured one. I love the colours that it's come out like, and they make two really nice contrasting bookends. You've got some great colours in there. When using a deep cure resin, it has much more time to be able to move around in that resin as well. But those colours look absolutely beautiful. As I always say, I'm not sure if it's picking it up on the actual camera, how great they look. Beautiful bookends. We can have books in between them, no problem. They're a nice weight and they're ideal. Brilliant. It's a great set and it's not going to set you back a lot of money either. Well worth getting hold of and really useful for doing deep pours. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Check out the video I've got coming up next. Boot that like button, hit that subscribe button, but most of all, enjoy your resin. Take care. Bye.